to you. Now let's get a short intro before we begin.
This is KUTV Primetime News with Yvonne Kemuma.
Margaret Migwi is our sign language interpreter tonight. Engage with us on X at KUTV_Kenya, at Kemuma_Monari. We are streaming live on YouTube at KUTV News Kenya. Will begin. Now, 24 new cases of Kala-Azar disease have been reported within the last 24 hours, with the death toll rising to 33, according to the Public Health PS. Mary Muthoni, the Health Ministry, is working with Wajir County to manage the outbreak. Additionally, the PS has also raised concerns over cholera, which has claimed a life in Nairobi. She blamed poor hygiene practices and urges Kenyans to boil water and wash hands. Over 70 people have been affected. Community health promoters will lead hygiene education.
We have been able to enhance our surveillance in Garissa County. We have been able to send help. We were able to send mobile labs, 3 mobile labs in Wajir County and 1 that went to Marsabit County. Our support staff are on the ground and they are coordinating together with the county government and the county staff.
Now, a 9-story building planned in Mombasa that was beginning sinking last week has been successfully demolished through a controlled operation using explosives today by the Kenya Defence Forces, bringing to an end fears of impending disaster in the area. The decision followed expert reports highlighting extensive structural damage caused by illegal borehole drilling. Residents, businesses, and patients in the vicinity had been evacuated to ensure public safety.
Mombasa's 9-story building demolition brought businesses to a halt in parts of Mombasa as the Kenya Defence Forces KDF took charge of the controlled operation using explosives. The condemned building, located along Abdul Nasser Road, has suffered severe foundational damage, leading to the partial collapse of 2 floors and key structural columns last week. Speaking after the demolition, Mombasa's Governor Abdul Samad Sharif Nasir expressed relief at the operation's success and confirmed that there were no casualties thanks to the evacuation efforts covering a 1.2-kilometer radius. The building, which had sunk significantly and showed signs of column failure, was declared unsafe by a multi-agency inspection team. Investigations revealed the primary causes were illegal borehole drilling and unauthorized structural modifications, including the addition of extra floors beyond the original design. With questions being raised about the professionals who approved these modifications and their role in supervision, the owners of the property, through their spokesperson, affirmed that they had followed all the construction standards as advised, noting that they were not going to be intimidated for a mistake which they claim no one is to be blamed for.
And I confirm, when we were told to put Kokoto, let me not go all to 600 millimeters, we have the certificates and we put 1000 millimeters. When we were told to put Y20, we have put Y25. When we were told to put Y30, we have put Y35. Now, we had already applied for 6 floors. You are right. But at the ground floor level only when we are doing basement and we have the certificate to confirm, there's nothing we are hiding. We got an approval for 4 more floors, which is there. So there should be no speculations. I am not blaming anybody. But the only thing is, I'm not going to accept any threats from anywhere. Let us sit down. We are human beings. I am a leader. As a spokesman of this family, let people come and we talk on the board.
Safety measures during the demolition included full evacuation within a 1.2-kilometer radius, temporary closure of Nyali Bridge and surrounding businesses, relocation of 124 patients from Coast General Teaching and Referral Hospital, with 380 others discharged. Anyango Sylvia, KUTV.
Environment, Climate Change and Forestry Cabinet Secretary Dr. Deborah Mlongo Barasa appeared before Senate today for questioning of allegations of her ministry giving out false information on tree planting exercises and logging. Ryle Makona reports.
It was not business as usual in the Senate as the members questioned Cabinet Secretary of Environment, Climate Change and Forestry, Deborah Mlongo Barasa, on matters concerning climate change and forestry. While in the Senate, the senators point at her ministry for not giving correct information on matter concerning tree planting and logging, which, though declared illegal, has been rampant in Karura and Tokodo forests.
SIA also provides guidance on seedling production, planting, management of plantations, process for disposal of mature plantations, harvesting and decommissioning. You can refer to chapter 5.8 on project activities, and also provide for public participation in those areas. In order to prevent deforestation across the country, the ministry has, number one, through the KFS, that's the Kenya Forest Service, recruited, trained and deployed 2,664 forest rangers, 474 foresters across all the forest stations for protection and surveillance to enhance survival of planted seeds, Annexed 6. The recent recruitment of forest rangers, forest officers and cadets has been a game changer, achieving a significant reduction in illegal forest activities which contribute to deforestation.
However, CS Barasa refuted the claim and maintained that her ministry is focused on reforestation and vowed to provide a comprehensive report regarding the matter.
To prevent deforestation across the country, the ministry has, number one, through the KFS, that's the Kenya Forest Service, recruited, trained and deployed 2,664 forest rangers, 474 foresters across all the forest stations for protection and surveillance to enhance survival of planted seeds, Annexed 6. The recent recruitment of forest rangers, forest officers and cadets has been a game changer, achieving a significant reduction in illegal forest activities which contribute to deforestation.
Senators maintained that the interrogation was aimed at checking on Barasa's accountability and bring her at par with her role. Ryle Makona, KUTV.
Now, still on Senate, the Roads and Transport Cabinet Secretary Davis Churchill faced a heated Senate session today as lawmakers pressed him on stalled airport construction projects, funding transparency, and the government's preparedness to resolve ongoing infrastructure delays. As our reporter Helen Kiplagat now tells us, senators demanded accountability and clear answers on what has slowed down the progress across the country.
During today's Senate session, Roads and Transport Cabinet Secretary Davis Churchill faced intense questioning, forced to provide clear explanation on stalled airport construction projects nationwide. Marsabit Senator Kutv Mohammed, who opened the session, demanding a detailed explanation of budgetary constraints which have been cited as a major cause of projects delay.
Just wondering, I want the Cabinet Secretary to tell this Honorable House, when he talks about the airstrips are not under the management of KAA, and then at the same time he's contradicting himself by saying the last page, which is page 5, the CS is talking about investment of up to 61 million shillings, and then the last paragraph talks about completion of the same project and handed over to KAA. If these airstrips are not managed by KAA, who is managing these airstrips? And why should it be handed over to Kenya Airports Authority? The Cabinet Secretary should tell this House that yes, we don't have funds now, but the programs are this year or next financial year, we are going to start and complete this project. Please, can the Cabinet Secretary tell the people of Marsabit and the people of this country besides not having money, when are you going to start the project?
In response, CS Chirchir clarified that the construction of airports project is being undertaken by the Kenya Wildlife Service, KWS.
Let me just clarify, Honorable Speaker, honorable members, that the airstrips in Kenya, today we have a total of about 440 airstrips falling under the Ministry of Interior, Ministry of Forestry under KWS, and KAA. Those under our direct jurisdiction and management are 18. And what happens, so we'll continue to cooperate with Interior, KWS, to deliver the various airstrips, continue to support and work together in terms of providing budgetary support, and that suffices to basically clarify why I did indicate that handed over back to the client being the contracting authority, KAA.
On her part, Isiolo Senator Aden Dulo Fatuma pressed Churchill to elaborate on the budget allocated for these airport projects and the measures being taken to ensure adequate and timely funding for their completion.
And provide reasons for any delays or stalling of the projects. B, how much has the government set aside for these projects in the financial year 2024-2025? C, what measures has the government put in place to ensure the timely completion of those projects? And could the Cabinet Secretary provide timelines for their completion? I thank you.
Speaker, in conclusion, I wish to inform the Honorable House that the Ministry is committed to enhancing aviation infrastructure in Marsabit to improve connectivity, security, and economic growth. Detailed timelines, like I said, of implementation we can provide as soon as we finish the feasibility studies and budgetary approval. And let me
Today's grilling of Minister Davis Chirchir by the Senate is part of the effort to scrutinize accountability and assure government officials uphold transparency in their duty. Helen Kiplagat, KUTV.
Now, the government has launched an extensive investigation into the frequent fires that have devastated markets across Nairobi, leaving traders with losses amounting to millions of shillings. Speaking in Karen while meeting over 400 Gikomba market traders affected by last week's fire, Deputy President KUTVNEWS stated that all possible causes, including potential foul play, will be thoroughly examined.
Days after a fire razed down the Kwambao section in Gikomba Market on Tuesday last week, Deputy President KUTVNEWS on Wednesday met with the affected traders in Karen, where he directed the relevant agencies to thoroughly investigate the cause of frequent fires in markets within Nairobi City County and provide comprehensive long-term solutions to avert a reoccurrence of the tragedies.
We must go to the root cause. Therefore, the President has directed the relevant agencies to investigate the causes of these fires. It doesn't make sense to imagine that all these things are accidents, because they keep on happening year in, year out.
To provide a long-term solution, DP Kindiki announced that the government will soon begin the construction of 10 new modern high-rise markets in Gikomba, Toi and Muthurwa to create safer and more structured trading spaces in order to boost the economic prosperity of Kenya.
Every market has a room for mothers with young children, lactating mothers, so that they can take time off, go, feed their babies, and come back and continue selling their wares. For the fresh produce trade, we are also providing cold rooms to ensure that the merchandise does not go bad. Kwa hivyo tunakazana.
Kindiki at the event, however, did not shy away from hitting out at former DP Rigathi Gachagwa's scorecard in terms of looking after the traders' welfare.
Juu hapo mbeleni nilikuwa na shida kidogo, rais alikuwa hana mtu ya mkono ya kumfanyia kazi. Sasa ako na mtu ya mkono.
Mimi nitabeba t-shirts, nitavaa sijui nini, tunyoroshane na wale wengine. Kila mtu aseme vile alisaidia watu ya Gikomba wakati walichomeka. Si namna hiyo. Ule mwingine ambia watu ya Mudhurwa ama watu ya Marigiti vile aliwasaidia wakati alikuwa na nafasi. Namna hiyo.
Consequently, to improve mobility and enhance emergency response in case of future incidents, the Kenya Urban Roads Authority KURA and Kenya Rural Roads Authority KERA have been directed to expand access roads within and around markets, with Kindiki announcing to frequently visit the affected markets to oversee both immediate and long-term improvements. Theo Masharia for KUTV.
We are due for our first break here on this particular bulletin. We'll be back with more, so stay tuned.
I was asking, in terms of separation of power, can you say something kind of positive or something that has kind of is positive? Because we cannot say that Kenya has failed in totality. Yeah.
There's something I like, which is called critical engagement. We have to critically engage with the law, so that I'm not against separation of powers. For example, these are very important principles that really underlie our country's progress. It's very important for us to note that. However, it's important for us to examine this critically, because when we critique, that's when we can make room for improvement.
Hi, my name is Stella Tioi.
Jina langu naitwa Okemwa Mokwa James.
This is Mandela Gaya.
Ugonjwa ulipokuja ulichukua siku 3 ukaniweka in coma. 20 wamezikwa, 2 ndio wako hai.
I don't even know how it feels to see.
I feel like I cannot express myself well the way somebody who can walk can actually express themselves.
Ilichukua muda mwingi mrefu tena mpana ili kuikubali kwamba mimi siwezi tembea tena.
I've come to actually accept myself.
Ukijaribu kumsimamisha mtu umwambie tafadhali nionyeshe njia,
they find it quite strange talking to you.
You should just make schools integrated,
inclusive setups,
by providing the right facilities.
You are watching KUTV Primetime News with Yvonne Kemuma.
That's right. Continue engaging with us on X at KUTV_Kenya, at Kemuma_Monari. Catch us live on KUTV News Kenya. Now, continuing, Interior and Government Coordination Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen has warned government officials against aiding land grabbing in Kilifi County. Speaking at the Kilifi County Commissioner's office in Kilifi Town on his tour of the county, Murkomen stated that land officers, National Government Administration officers, Ngao, judicial officers and police officers had been cited as enablers of land grabbing by siding with wealthy individuals to deprive residents of their land. Murkomen further outlined the ministry's plan to hire more than 10,000 Kenyans to increase the number of police officers in the country.
We are putting a lot of effort, but maybe in the next financial year we need to have a particular budget for closing Shakahola. Based on my briefing I've received here, I really think that there is need for a one-off budget that takes care of both collection of information, of samples, but most importantly in terms of final leg in terms of investigation, but also what to do with the people who are unable to come forward. We are unable to get DNA samples. What do we do with the site? Can we make it a memorial site for remembrance of these victims of, unfortunately, religious extremism and radicalization, and therefore so that it can become a place where it will remind us about our failures as a society to protect those who are victims of radicalization and religious extremism.
Now, President William Ruto has reaffirmed his administration commitment to fostering a thriving entrepreneurial ecosystem during the World Chambers Federation Africa Summit 2025 that aims to boost African trade, innovation and sustainability with a focus on regional integration under the African Continental Free Trade Area.
President William Ruto has today announced sweeping reforms aimed at improving the ease of doing business across the country. Speaking at the opening of the World Chambers Federation Africa Summit 2025, the president said the government, in partnership with the Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, is committed to fostering an enabling environment where small and medium enterprises can grow and thrive.
We are reorganizing the Africa Union. We are reforming the institutions of the Africa Union so that it becomes a fit-for-purpose mechanism for us to unlock the potential of this continent first, even as we look at what we can do with the rest of the world.
He emphasized that chambers of commerce play a crucial role in connecting entrepreneurs to policymakers, acting as the voice of business from all corners of the country, from the shopkeepers in Mombasa to farmers in Uasin Gishu and tech innovators in Nairobi.
We still have a bigger opportunity in intra-Africa trade. The realization by policymakers like myself that that is where the real future lies is a very welcome development, because it's now becoming more obvious that even as we look to trading with the rest of the world, there is a present and real opportunity in trading within the African continent.
He also outlined key government investments in infrastructure, renewable energy, and industrial parks, as well as efforts to increase financial inclusion through the Hustler Funds, circles, and fintech solutions.
Kenya's economy, for example, last year grew by 5.6%, outpacing global trends. Key sectors like agriculture, services, and manufacturing are rebounding. At the grassroots, micro, small, and medium enterprises are the backbone of our economy, employing over 80% of our people.
Meanwhile, International Chamber of Commerce Chairperson Philip Varin and KNCCI President Eric Ruto both commended Kenya's leadership, noting that deeper continental integration could boost African trade by $150 billion annually by 2030.
The initiatives like the African Continental Free Trade Area, they appear to be very promising. This FTA has the potential to create the largest free trade area in the world in terms of number of participating countries. And moreover, the estimates show that by 2035, implementation of this FTA could contribute to lifting 30 million people from extreme poverty and 68 million people from moderate poverty across Africa.
We want to boost inter-African trade from 16% to 68% that we see in Europe, North America, and Asia. And the aspirations of the FTA to reach 52% by 2030.
The summit is set to end on 11th April 2025 with sessions on youth and women empowerment, market access for MSMEs, and innovation-driven solutions to African challenges, taking the center stage. Brenda Nyongesa, KUTV.
Now, chaos on Wednesday broke out at the Muragara Primary School grounds in India, Kirinyaga County, after supporters of the former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua and those of Mathira Member of Parliament Eric Wamumbi clashed at the funeral service. The supporters were attending the funeral service of the late Anne Wanjiru Mumbuchi when clashes over political differences broke out. Drama started when MP Wamumbi spoke against Gachagua while addressing the mourners, claiming that the former DP did not support late Wanjiru despite her being his political supporter. However, calm was later restored and the funeral service ran as planned.
Ukweli ni kwamba Rigathi Gachagua hajasaidia huyu mama. Na hiyo ndio ukweli. Rigathi Gachagua hajasaidia huyu Charity. Na kama amesaidia, akuja aseme hapa amemsaidia na nini. Rigathi Gachagua ametumia huyu mama.
Hapa huwezi kuja kukosea viongozi heshima ama watu wa Kirinyaga County heshima.
Tulikuwa tumekubaliana zote, tukaambiwa na mpaka viongozi wa kanisa kasisi kwamba hakuna kuongea siasa. Na kila mtu akapewa nafasi ya kuongea. Sisi tuliongea, tukapeana rambirambi zetu, tukakaa.
Enter the sporting world. Kenya Pipeline has stormed into the semi-finals of the 2025 African Women Volleyball Championships after sweeping Rwanda's 3-0 in the quarterfinals 25-21, 25-17, 25-14. The Oilers locked out Aprili style, avenging later months Zone V final boss. Meanwhile, Kenya Prisons couldn't hold back Egypt's Al Hill, falling 3-1 as the Egyptian giant booked their semi-final slots. Arsenal thrashed Real Madrid 3-0 in the UEFA Champions League match at the Emirates Stadium. Arsenal midfielder Declan Rice opened the score sheet in the 58th and 70th minute before Michael Merino found the back of the net in the 75th minute. In other matches staged yesterday night, Bayern lost their home match against Inter Milan. In tonight's fixtures, PSG will square it out with Aston Villa in the first leg of the quarterfinals at Parc des Princes, while Barcelona will host Dortmund at Estadi Olympique Louis Campanis at 10 p.m. East African time. Thanks for choosing KUTV to get you informed tonight. We do appreciate your presence here with us tonight. Engage with us on X at KUTV_Kenya and at Kemuma_Monari. You can always find us on YouTube at KUTV Kenya, at KUTV News Kenya and at KUTV Kenya for our daily programs. That is all the time we had for you tonight. My name is Yvonne Kemuma. On the sign language interpretation was Margaret Migwi. Have a blessed night.